Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Hearthstone. We're getting a good amount of recordings here doing the arena run, and that's nice to see. It's also somehow slowing me down on my coverage a little bit. We've also got 3 victories, so I don't want to blow my chain of success here, and probably will, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to run out of things to talk about. So last time we talked a little bit about YouTube's new Creator on the Rise / Artist on the Rise program. So it seems like every other day in the trending tab they're going to have a Creator on the Rise or an Artist on the Rise. Now already I have seen there's a problem with the Artist on the Rise element of this. Because the Artist on the Rise is specifically music people. But the Creator on the Rise is quite amazing because one of the creators on the Rise was a person in a furry suit. Like somebody you would never think in a million years would get highlighted by YouTube if YouTube corporate think was still intact. So this is like the most hope I've ever seen that YouTube may finally be getting what makes YouTube great is the actual creators and the actual going where the eyes actually are instead of trying to direct the eyes like TV and movies do, where the another person I think was a Korean cook on the Creator on the Rise. Oh darn it, that wasn't played well. Oh well. I've not been paying the most close attentions. None of them are me, however, because you have to have over 1,000 subscribers, which still is a pretty high number. I mean, 2 years into this, I've got up to 112, and I think a lot of that, all of that recently might be because I showed myself on the Diamond Club Reddit subreddit, and hopefully I'll get shouted out when Night Attack, the podcast that will shout people out in that post. Hopefully that actually happens, and then that would be a beginning of things. In a lot of ways, my channel's not really doing the greatest right now, so an influx of new people hopefully will help motivate me to continue to try and improve and do more, and instead of kind of what I'm doing right now, which is just trying to stretch out the let's see this. I'm trying to stretch out series a lot, trying to make the episodes a little bit shorter. I guess I probably will get shouted out right about when Honey Pop starts, so it also may give me this huge influx because I'm covering Honey Pop that has nothing to do with anything else, or in other ways it might also create a weird situation where, let's see, if I hit this, if I wonder, what should I do? Like this, and that would be 4. This would only do 3 damage. So kill this one and attack here and play this and then do this and then end the turn. So that's it. Now, to get back to the Creator on the Rise program, the Creator on the Rise part of it is great. It's amazing that they're giving two days instead of just 1 day, or even like an hour thing. I think they may very well end up having to speed up the process and only highlight things for a shorter amount of time just to try to cover more things. But let's see. This would do 3 damage to all others. So this and then this. And then that.
Bring out your dead.
I think I may lose here. The artist on the rise problem is the fact that I've already seen that it's Vimeo artists. And at the end of the day, I kind of have to wonder if they didn't incorporate a desire to get money from Vimeo and with a good idea. And like, I love the idea of artists on the rise. I hate the idea that Vimeo channels are included on this at all, because that's just totally unfair. Let's see, minions cost 2 less, but no more than 1. I could do this, and I could do this, and then we can kill this one. So yeah, Vimeo, I believe partially owned by Sony, partially owned by maybe a few other people. It's big time corporate music artists. It's Madonna, it's the Beatles, it's all of that. And Vimeo floods the YouTube, and it sucks so bad. Because those videos get so many views, and it's so apples to oranges. What if somebody's going to go listen to music? I sometimes listen to a few songs on YouTube and give more views. But there's almost all the music things have 13 million views, because it's so easy for somebody to make a playlist and literally watch a YouTube playlist to listen to music. And all of that should actually be in YouTube, Google Play Music, not in YouTube. Because they have conflicting reasons to exist and conflicting what would be the right word to say? Conflicting.
Can I help you, sir?
Let's see. I guess this would heal me anyway, so I might as well do this. And let's go ahead and kill this guy.
Oh, goody.
So yeah, I would love to see artists on the rise that just got 1,000 subscribers, and they are actual indie artists, not signed by anything. But if artists on the rise just means 4 days out of a week, or which I don't know how this is going to work actually, because it seems like they're going to highlight things for 2 days and highlight 4 things for 2 days, and somehow that's going to equal 7 days. I don't know how that really is going to work, but nobody needs Vimeo music to be highlighted at all. Vimeo needs to be kicked off of YouTube into its own service. It's its own separate thing. And it's really just helping the people that are eventually going to ruin YouTube. It's like, we don't need to pay and advertise and put money in the pockets of the people who are doing all the content IDs and copyright lawsuits against Google itself. It's just ridiculous. So there's 2 more things I have to talk about here, and hopefully I won't die too fast here. I was on a roll. I was winning pretty well. But the Yandere Simulator developer came back and made another video in defense of Twitch. And if it's not apparent, what Yandere Dev, as he calls himself, is doing is he's making stories. He's telling you a tall tale. He's telling you a fish tale, effectively. The story never ends. It just is left on a cliffhanger and continued the next month. That's all this game is. It will never be fully finished. There is some development in it. It does actually exist as a program that runs, but he doesn't have the capability, or I think probably even the desire to finish it. So every month he does a monthly update, which is just the story continues. So the fishtail gets a little bit bigger, his ambition gets a little bit bigger. Every now and then he throws in a twist, so he suggests something that nobody else is going to like. Let's see. But on the Twitch issue, he came out in the public forum. He pretty much made himself look like the victim, while also kind of attacking Twitch for banning him. Like Twitch really matters. It's I hate to get political, but it's Trump complaining about his numbers being misrepresented as an algorithm. Who cares? He was the president. A lot of people were there, whether they were there to protest or not. We didn't take a poll, so we'll never be sure for certain. But at the end of the day, he is the president. He was inaugurated. He should have been happy with that. Instead, he came back and complained that certain media people misrepresented. Which, okay, whatever. And it was the biggest, even bigger than Barack Obama's initial inauguration, which it absolutely was not. It's blatantly obvious, and that's fine. And it would have been so easy, as I'm saying on politics, and I hate to talk about politics, it would have been so easy for Trump to say we were very satisfied with the outcome. Several factors are different, and it's much easier to watch the inauguration online than it was 8 years ago when Barack Obama does. So we never expected to have numbers any as close to his actually in person. But we're very happy, and it was a great peaceful transition of political power in the United States. So you just spin it like any other politician would have spun it, and he's definitely proving not to be like any other politician. Let's see, what can I do here? I need this, and this, and this. And so, to get back to Yandere Dev, he comes back in defense of Twitch and he says, well, now I've probably painted them in the corner. Or maybe they don't have a procedure, so it keeps going up the chain and there's just no established procedure to ban it. Or maybe there's just nobody in that position, in a position like that to make any changes. And so he's now, because he's having this one-sided argument, he's now making the one-sided argument for the other side, because what else can he do?
Dance with me.
Let's see, and I've lost.
Fine, I'll
So, yeah. It was inappropriate for him to make a public thing against Twitch. He should have just, honestly, like, he should just focus on making this game and not worry about Twitch. Twitch very well may not even be around by the time he's done with his game, if he's ever done with this game, which I don't believe he ever will be. So we got 3 victories. That's not terrible. I was hoping for 12, but at least it got us 3 boxes. So we get a pack for 100, 35 gold, so that's 135, and 20 dust, which I think probably puts us slightly over the entry fee. So I think for 150 gold entry fee, which I just realized it was 150, so we may actually be walking backwards as far as earning gold. We're doing all these quests, but it may not be enough. Let's open this package. But yeah, people, arguably also with the video game companies, are arguing against the immigration ban. Maybe these companies should just focus on making games, because they're not making perfect good games right now, and I'm sure the CEOs that are and the PR parts that are making these comments. Let's see, we need to win with Shaman and Warlock. We'll try our overload deck on casual. If they had more interest in paying their programmers, if they had more interest in giving reasonable budgets, if they had more interest in generally just ensuring to make a good game, they would probably do a lot better for their company than making inflammatory statements of anything. Speaking of inappropriate, here we have another example of a person who doesn't really have interest in making games. I won't say particularly good games, but honestly, his attention clearly is not 100% focused on Double Fine making a lot of good games. Tim Schafer, guy in charge of Double Fine, is once again, for the 6th time, going to host the Game Developers Choice Awards. And my Hearthstone deck tracker crashed. Well, that'll be interesting. Wow, the screen looks a lot brighter, too, when that happened. I didn't realize it dimmed the screen when you had the overlay on. Hopefully that doesn't... Hopefully you're not just seeing a bunch of blackness or something. But Tim Schafer and nobody else, there's really not a lot of argument here that I can even make in defense of him. Nobody else who works in the industry should be hosting an award show designed to give video game awards. I mean, this is in the same way like the Screen Actors Guild giving away awards to the screen actors. They can do it, but the awards are very tainted and kind of just
cleanse the
like,
sun well.
this isn't an independent committee, and I just don't see how Tim Schafer should be spending his time on that. Let's see, let's play this and attack. So I only need victories here. It makes a little bit more sense if you hire somebody like Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler, particularly since they're, well, Adam Sessler now has been hired as a PR representative, so he's crossed the line back and forth, as so many people who criticize video games do, is they get hired to work for the video game industry that they were criticizing before. But at least that makes a little bit more sense. The idea of having a critic host the awards. In the other way, you could just hire hosts, actors, comedians. That's they kind of suck and they kind of don't get it. Certainly, we've seen that in the awards shows where people who are really, I think the people on the West Coast and the people in New York and LA in particular have a sense of humor that may not be compatible completely with other sense of humor, so they sometimes hire comedians that have drier or darker humor than something that might appeal more in general. I don't know if they could afford Seinfeld, but yeah, Seinfeld would be a great host for a video game award show. You could get what's his name, I just saw him on the new Netflix show, a series of unfortunate events, based on the books, of course. I know that. Not Patrick Stewart. I've forgotten his name. All right, well, whoever that actor is that can act and sing and dance, he's a decent host. A lot of the hosts in the other award shows are awful. Miss Universe and Steve Harvey just happened, and certainly wouldn't hire him for anything. Let's see. You know, this might just be a universal problem of all hosts for all award shows suck. All award shows suck. We don't need any of them. Maybe in my previous argument, people should just focus on making good games. And it's kind of ridiculous, I suppose, if you take a step back to think about how many awards are handed out for the video game industry. It's as bad as like the car industry where JP Morgan, Chase, you just buy the award and that's it. You make up a category, you win that category always. Let's see. 3, 2 damage and unlock. And in the turn. But you have end of the year awards, which I partake in a little bit, and I say my game of the year, and then I spend the next like hour in the video talking about how the year went. For the past 2 years that I've been doing this, and that's really my only award. I know the bigger places have Game of the Year awards. Giant Bomb does a whole week of Game of the Year awards things that I listen to. Dealing 4 damage. Let's go ahead and kill this. There's almost certainly dozens of other end of the year awards that happen for video game critics. So everybody does their end of the year awards, which is one thing on Christmas and at the end of the year. And then here it is barely the end of January. And like it's a couple days until January ends in which I'm recording this. And they're announcing the Game Developers Choice Awards. When does it happen? February? May? June? July? Does it even wait 4 months before they have to have another award show? Has there been an award show in between? PAX South is happening right now. I bet there's a Best of PAX award that goes out too. I wouldn't be surprised for a second if that's exactly the case. So, like, PAX South, there's CES has already happened, but no real video games there. Is there a major award show every 2 or 3 months, year-round, for the video game industry? Or maybe it's just all packed at the beginning of the year? On the topic of PAX South, pretty disappointing. I mean, I follow PAX on Twitter, and they're just talking about this, like, live action torture room, escape room thing that they were doing in kind of the style of Resident Evil 7. And that was kind of it. Seemed like nothing else was happening at all in PAX South. And I've already kind of said I don't want to end up going to a lot of these conventions because I feel like they'd be a waste of time. And this is just another example of that. It's just feels like it would be a waste of time and a great opportunity to get sick. just get the con flu and a lot of money spent for nothing. The other thing I've noticed is as I've started following this group on Facebook that are gamers, a good portion of gamers either immediately buy a game and start talking about it on Facebook, or they don't buy it at all. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I want to do this. Let's see. End turn. So how long have we been going? This will be our last game, and hopefully you're not looking at a black screen because the Hearthstone deck tracker crashed. Hearthstone deck tracker has been crashy a little bit lately, and I was playing Lego Indiana Jones 2, and that too crashed on me. Let's see, draw 2 cards. Deal 4 damage to a minion. Let's see. Let's see. Well, I might win here. I might just win. He's gonna have to struggle to take a victory from me. He can do it.
The Frost Wolves stand ready.
Well, with that, I thought I might talk about something else, but I guess I don't have anything else. I was trying to scratch the back of my head and think about what I could take. Like, I hope I didn't mess up my computer by cloning the hard drive to a bigger SSD, but I don't think so. That was, I think, the only thing I could say. So we need 2 more victories, but I'm amazed I made this many recordings, honestly, considering I had so little to talk about. Thank goodness, I guess, for the immigration ban. I may be the only person in the United States to ever say that, but it gave me something to talk about for 30 minutes, even though I didn't really want to talk about it. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like. I'll get the rest of this done off screen. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.